visceral experience than I imagined.
This is a business kind of training, so it's gonna be good for my job. It's more than that. It goes deeper. It goes into the core of who you are.
I can't even begin to explain. It's amazing. For me, it was pretty much a really life-changing experience.
I selected this course mostly because of the name, High Impact Leadership. The difference between this course and other courses that I've taken is that instead of a lecture format where people are telling you, oh, do this, do that, they really force you to participate. That made it easy for me to really connect with the material.
The program is extremely experiential and interactive because people really learn by doing. All of the participants have an opportunity to really connect with one another in many different ways.
You work with the coaches work with you in a group setting, in a smaller group setting, in a larger group setting, and in one-on-one setting, and it was very emotional.
The emotional aspect of the course is extraordinary. Too often in American business, what's left off the table is the emotions, is the human connection, is seeing your counterparts as the human beings and people that they are.
Today's leader needs to play many roles. It doesn't matter if you're an engineer, a banker, financier, venture capitalist. Everyone needs to become a powerful communicator.
We see that communication is a discipline. It's like the martial arts. There's always room for improvement.
Both the actor and the business professional have the job of communicating ideas. So the skill set of how you use your voice, how you use your gestures, how do you use this as your instrument to be the communicator?
Each day or each activity kind of draws more out of you. In this supportive environment, it kind of pushes you forward.
In the River of Life exercise, people get an opportunity to take a look at their life as a river that flows from birth to the present moment.
It was an incredible experience to hear how that river flowed for different people and how, despite the varied backgrounds we come from, there's something that we can all relate to.
I think it's a great reminder as humans that everyone has a story. This course reminded me of that in such a significant and profound way.
It's an eye-opener. It gives you a good definition of who you are and who you want to be, and you get to take that back to home and to your job.
We talk a lot about the different roles that a leader plays, because you're not always the commander in charge. You're not always the one with all the answers. And so it's a kind of leadership that is very much aware of what it is that your people need and realizing that there are these different roles that you can play.
And this was also my opportunity to come to Berkeley for the first time. This was an experience I'd never expected I would have.
I really love the culture and style of Berkeley, as well as having the opportunity to really be here and focused for 3 straight days.
The wisdom of the group is really important because they help reflect back to you things that maybe you can't see about yourself. It's in the tremendously high energy exercises that we do. It's in the one-on-one conversations you have with each other. You really create a community in these 3 days that is really not like any other course you've ever taken.
What I've learned here, I will take back.
It sounds really dramatic to say it was life-changing, but really it was life-changing.
I will definitely take back to the people that I manage actively a different perspective, which will hopefully make me a more impactful leader and inspire us to do great things, which we try to do every day.
Now, for any brand to succeed externally, internal culture has to be positively aligned and on song. And that informed a recent discussion with visiting Professor Mark Rittenberg from the University of California, Berkeley Haas School of Business Leadership. I want to start with your work in the field of brand ambassadorship, if we can. It's a popular term, it's thrown about, it's bandied about all the time. Firstly, what's your understanding of it and why is it important?
First of all, thanks very much for having me. And brand ambassador, I was introduced to actually in South Africa by the former Avis CEO, Granville Wilson. And the short story is that we'd been on a game drive, we'd gained a lot of weight like now, we went to lose weight, we need to do it again. But the point is, while we were at this wonderful High Rustenburg Hydro, he introduced the idea of brand ambassador where all employees would become powerful communicators, where all employees would become literally living billboards. Let's get rid of the advertising budget and let's actually let the people live the values and be the actual people. And at some point in the eucalyptus sauna or something, he said, so tell me the essence of your work. And I mentioned one of the guiding principles is show up and choose to be present. And at that point he says, you're my partner. We're going to put the 2,800 people through, and I'm looking for three things as a standard chartered accountant. More profitability, I'm looking for employee satisfaction off the charts, and I'm looking to exceed customer expectations at every interface. If we can do that, I will invest in this widely.
You've worked with executives at many Fortune 500 companies, and you write that a common leadership problem is fear. Fear of what?
Fear of being fired, fear of being criticized, risk averse, fear of the unknown. And so what one's often dealing with is, well, you see, leaders, I use that term very differently. There are very few leaders in South Africa. There are very few leaders in the US. There are thousands of managers. The difference between the two is that one basically makes things happen on a daily basis. The leader is a visionary. The leader is inspirational. She's motivational, all sorts of things. So therefore, leaders actually work to get rid of their fear because they are doing self-reflection and work on themselves all the time.
I would suggest to you a little fear is a good thing. You don't want complacency to set in amongst good leadership, do you?
You don't want complacency, but why not replace fear with team spirit? In other words, we all know, every single study shows, serving the greater good, serving the company, a Kennedy-esque thing, don't ask what you can do, don't ask what your country can do for you, so you can do for your country. It's the greater good. And if a manager, i.e. who becomes a leader, in fact engenders a team spirit that we're going to stand shoulder to shoulder and we're going to make this happen and we are going to be the best in class. There's no bullying. There's simply a standard. And I have found in studying the Silicon Valley, Fortune 500, those managers who are decent to their people, who are tough as nails but decent, caring, and are really willing to be coaches for their people as well as commanding generals when the calling comes, they get the best results.